What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with that playoff updates. Everybody it's just been chaotic right now. Feeling a little better. I try to give y'all the Celtics Bucks analysis. I try to give y'all what I think about the Denver Nuggets and etc. Y'all know how I go. Y'all know how it been. But other than that, um, we can get into this Bucks Celtics um, thing, and man, I most likely already know. I'm most likely gonna try to get down there if I can, and you know, um, I'm rooting for my Celtics. Um, I don't know. I just found out, like everybody else, that Chris Middleton is out for the series, so we didn't really know that until today. So I'm just finding out the information like everybody else. Just chilling. But let's get into the playoff prediction. One of the series that's already set is the Bucks versus my Boston Celtics. It's a series that we all excited for, I know, and I'm still kind of torn between this one. Giannis and them, they doing their thing, and um, eh, yeah, I mean Chris Middleton is out, but my Celtics be ready, and we proved that this entire season. Feel like we've been a little inconsistent when it comes to our performance. That's the regular season. I like this team a lot better after the trade deadline. And to me, um, yeah, I get what you're saying, but the Bucks, it's a tough series. But let's get into that. The Bucks, to me, when I look at this team, they have the shooting. They got Connaughton, they got Grayson Allen, they got Wesley Matthews, they got Brook Lopez in the corner, if necessary. They got Giannis in that paint too. Brook Lopez can space the floor. They got Bobby Portis as a floor spacer. At the four position, Serge is coming off the bench. They don't need him as much because they got Portis. Obviously, to anybody that has been watching the Bucks, they already knew that, and Brook Lopez, like I said, can space the floor too. So, to me, I look at this series um, as one of them that could go either way. To me, Tatum is a big moment for him when you look at the fact that he hasn't been the franchise guy. You had the teams with Kimba, you had the team with Isaiah Thomas, you had the teams with Gordon Hayward and Kyrie, on those rosters. And last year, Tatum showed out against the Nets, but Brown was injured and other guys was out, and you got Harden, you got Kyrie, and those guys healthy at that point, and it was just a little bit too much. And like Destiny saying, it was a little overwhelming for us last year. We ended up losing that series in 5 games, but we was overmatched. Way too many injuries. Jalen Brown wasn't healthy last year, and that didn't help our case because he was our second best player. People forget that Jalen Brown was an all-star last year, a 20-point scorer, one of the best perimeter defenders last year. And when you don't have that, and Kimbo was out too that series, and it's just not enough for my Celtics to be able to do their thing the way that they do. And you know, when your team could bust like that in the first round, it happens, and that's why that's last year. And this year we're more healthier. Smart is available. I do like what I see out of him. Um, but to me, when you look at this roster, we're more mature, we're more smarter. We care a little bit more. Our offense is still a little wacky. Tatum is still a little inconsistent offensively, but he's young. He's only 24 years old, and he's part of the process, the journey, as I always joke. And um, this is a time that can really show, is he really ready for it? A lot of people talking about, is it Giannis or Tatum? I'm not really going to get into to that conversation because I feel like there's a lot of great players, in this league, and I love Tatum. I love my Celtics, and you know, Tatum got past a team that they were supposed to beat. This isn't the first time my Celtics got deep in the playoffs. This isn't the first time they got out of the first round. But that Nets team to me wasn't a contender. I had that on my rundown, and I didn't look at the Nets as a team that can win a title this year. I've been saying that throughout the year. I've been saying that also last time I did a live stream, and you know they just wasn't a contender this year. And my Celtics, they went in there, handled their business, got the job done, and I'm smiling because my Celtics, didn't play with their food and they got the job done. You know what I'm saying? And it's just gonna be a tougher challenge. It's just gonna be a tougher challenge playing against a team that's a veteran team, like the Bucks that won the title, went through some adversity and some chaos last year, getting through the Nets, getting through the Atlanta Hawks, and obviously also winning the finals against the Phoenix Suns down 0-2 and winning four straight shows you the character that they built, and it shows you how the mentality changed for the Bucks. To go through that type of controversy and chaos, and to figure it out and get it done and ultimately push through and, win the title. It just shows you at the end of the day how tough it can be to get over that hump. And like I've been saying all these years, people kept saying, "Can the Bucks do it? Can the Bucks do it? Can I already know I live in this area, and can't answer your fool, can't answer that all that, but I've been in this Wisconsin area for my whole life, and to see the Bucks continue to grind their way and get to that championship is beautiful for, the Bucks fans, and I give them credit for that throughout the entire year. Even I was at ring night, people already know that, so I'm not going to answer that question. But, you know, to me, when I look at my Celtics, this is a huge, point that I'm trying to make with that Buck situation is to get through, you actually got to get it done. You know what I mean? And the Celtics under Tatum, especially as their franchise player, we already gave him the max contract. We gave him a max rookie extension already. So we already got Tatum and Brown under contract. That's why I said that. But having them both healthy is amazing. Especially like I said last year, Brown was out in the first round like Kimba, and this year to have Marcus Smart, to have Al Horford. I like Robert Williams. He gives a lot of hustle, a lot of muscle, a lot of effort. Still a decent defender to me, not great or amazing. Still happy. Still, the rim protecting thing has been a problem his entire career. More smarter, more improved, like I said, throughout the entire season. But he's still raw. This is playoff time. This is shit time for everybody that know. And having a guy like Al Horford who knows the game, has made it to the conference finals with the Atlanta Hawks, and a guy that can space the floor, protect the rim, finish in the paint a little bit, set screens, get guys open, get guys space, get guys on the same page. A good passer still in his career, but he's older. Not the same Al Horford that he once was, but we don't need him to be. We got Brown, we got Tatum, we got Smart. We have a lot of guys on this roster. We even have, you know, I know there's a lot of questions I'm trying to answer as best as I can, but you already know that when you look at this Celtics team, yeah, I love the Celtics team. I'm talking about the team right now, but when you look at Tatum, he's still getting buckets. He can get that 25. He can get that 30. That's not the regular season. That's the playoffs, and that's different. But when I look at this team, I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Tatum. It's a growing process. It's a maturation process, and the Bucks is a team that been on the same level throughout the years, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't, and what pieces they need to put around Chris Middleton and Giannis. And they figured it out last year. I was a guy that loved the Drew Holiday trade. at that time, and it really paid off for him. We seen what he did, stealing the ball from Booker and throwing the lob to Giannis, and making plays against the Nets. People forget that fourth quarter that he had that really helped, the crowd go crazy, and making those big plays and ultimately getting it done in overtime. It just shows you what's necessary and what's needed, to win a title. And Marcus Smart can make those plays. He has done it throughout his career too. But, you know, Drew Holiday is a good matchup on Marcus Smart, but Marcus Smart not the offensive player. Neither is Drew Holiday. That's when bringing up the defensive side of the ball, where they put a lot of effort and energy. They hang their hat on there. Drew Holiday is a better offensive player than Marcus Smart, but Marcus Smart knows his game. He takes his shots, that's available. He takes his shots that's open. Sometimes he forces it. Sometimes he does a little bit too much, like Yellow Thing say. But it's him. He does the best he can. He has grown. He has improved. Marcus Smart been on the All NBA team before when it comes to defense, and for him to win Defensive Player of the Year is great. It's amazing, and it's good for Boston. It's good for this entire organization that I love so much, and we just trying to get another ship. You know what I mean? We tied with the Lakers, but we're just trying to get another ship in Boston. And I'm trying to answer that Tatum question, but I'm answering as many questions as I can. And when I look at this Celtics team, I like they fight. I like Daryl White, like I said on rundowns, and when I did a live stream on the trade deadline already. But he gives them another switchable wing defender that can has high IQ, can make plays, can set guys up, and can hit threes. And you know, also he understands his role. He understands what he's supposed to do out there. A good communicator, a guy that makes other guys' jobs easier just by knowing where to be and making the right play, making the right reads and decisions. And you need those type of guys on this roster. When you look at Marcus Smart, when you look at Al Horford, when you look at Ime Udoka and what he's been able to do, it's a lot of pieces, like I said, coming into this season with my What to Expect series, which everybody knows at this point because they just brought it up. That's how they know. And when you look at the fact that the roster that we started with this year was a little discombobulated, had a lot of offensive problems this year, had a lot of the defensive lapses, a lot of blaming and whining and complaining of why this don't work, why this ain't happening, a lot of your turn, my turn type of thing. Um, with Tatum and Brown, but I feel like they had that figured out a little bit more than people think last year. Like I said, Tatum was an all-star. Brown was an all-star at the same time, so I don't really understand that one. I just said Jalen Brown was injured last year in the playoffs, so he won't be available when he's injured. Kimba was injured also in the playoffs last year. For anybody that's been watching the playoffs the last couple of years, everybody knows that already. That's been watching the playoffs last year. This is this year, by the way. And you know what I mean? Y'all, but when I look at this year team, it's just a different one than what I seen at the start of the season. And I just don't see as much blaming, as much whining. I just see guys as fighting. I just see guys that's doing whatever it takes to win. And when things get ugly and things get crazy, they're staying together. They're going for the steals, they're defending, they're competing, they're moving the ball, they're playing together. They're still a little sloppy, still a little undisciplined. But that's part of the journey, like I keep saying, this team hasn't won the title because this is a new version of the Celtics. It's no Kyrie, it's no Kimba, it's no Isaiah Thomas. This is no Gordon Hayward this year. Like I told people throughout the year, the replacement is Derek White. Gordon Hayward contract is out of control for this team. And having a guy like Darrell White that can hit a three, make a play, make guys better, defend better than Gordon Hayward is why this team is a lot different than that one. And, Tatum is older. He's older, and that's the difference. He's 24 now. He's been through playoff series. He's been through wars. He's been through battles, and I've been proud of Tatum for years. I told people, like, everybody know Tatum is a guy I'm going to ride for. He's a guy that I love, and he's young. Like I said, he's only 24 years old. He's an all-star already multiple times. He already been on the All NBA team before. This won't be the first year he's been on All NBA teams for multiple years now, and not multiple years in a row, but he already been on the All NBA team before. And to me, um, Jalen Brown has never been an All NBA player. He's been an All Star. Like he's been an All Star already, not an All NBA player. Two different things. But I mean, I can't answer the playoff predictions if y'all asking all these questions, and some of them are already obvious and already known too. So I don't really understand that stuff. But I love what I'm seeing. He's a good shooter. He knows his role. He goes out there and makes smart plays. He goes out there and hit his threes. He doesn't get in the way. He doesn't try to do too much, and he just understands the game. I'm out here to play 15, 20 minutes. If a guy go down, I come in and you know do my same thing. I'm just relying on more. His ball handling is still decent. His playmaking is improved, but they don't really need all that. You got Tatum, you got Brown, you got Smart, you got Horford, you got Ime to do his job. And, they have so many playmakers and multiple guys that can handle the ball. Derek White is a guy that can handle the ball and make plays too. It's a lot of hybrid guys, a lot of combo guys on this roster, and that's what makes us tough. Having multiple guys that can attack, having multiple guys that knows where guys are at and how to get to the basket and how to kick the ball out, and having spacers like Tice and spacers like Horford. I'm not a big fan of Tice defensively, and on top of that, just being a floor spacer is a role. But like I said, we want to win the title. You know, we have a lot of role players. We have guys that really play well in their roles, like I've been saying throughout the whole video. And when you got guys that can space, break down the defense, guys like Tatum that can, has the confidence and has the passion and has the offensive game when it's going and when it's hitting to take over games and hit big shots. You know, that's what your superstar supposed to do. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I love what I see out of Tatum. He's 24. He's still growing. This is his franchise. This is his team. He's the highest paid player on this roster. He already got the max extension. He already been an all-star, already been an all-NBA player before this year. So none of that stuff is new because he already had the accolades before. But to me, when I look at Tatum, he's just doing his thing, man. He's just doing his thing. And I mean, he came out of Duke, and I loved him in the draft, and I'm glad that we still have him. I'm not complaining that we got him the money because he's only 24. He's on that journey to become what he needs to become for the Celtics team. And if he doesn't become him, he's still under contract. We still love him. We still feeling him. But you know what I mean? If we don't get it done this year, we can figure that out in the off season, and we can figure that's their job. They do their thing. I already met Danny Ainge, already met those guys. So, I met them at Summer League, so they already know those things. So we don't have to discuss that. We focusing on the playoffs right now. But to me, I'm loving my Celtics. Yeah, I'm loving my Celtics, and I'm loving Jalen Brown. I don't think it's been tough. Like I said, he was an all-star last year, and this is a guy that competes. Jalen Brown doesn't compete for the ball. He just does his thing. If Jalen Brown needs to go for 20, he goes for 20. If he goes for 30, he goes for 30. If he went for 20 in that game, and it just shows you that things that people say about you may be true, may not. People claim and say a lot of things, but at the end of the day, the people that's there, the people that know you, the people that see you, they know what they know. People that don't, they don't. And, at the end of the day, it's just about putting in the work. Because I've seen Jalen Brown at Summer League, and I made a Summer League analysis already on the channel years ago, so you don't even got to watch it now because he's not the same player that he was at Summer League. I already know that. I already did cover the draft that year. My mock draft, I already said that stuff in the mock draft, so I don't really have to bring that up because I'm at the playoffs right now. But I'm proud of Jalen Brown. Said that before. Said it in a rookie analysis breakdown, and to see him become an all-star, not really a surprise to me. Plus, that was last year, not this year. For anybody that know basketball, you already know that Jalen Brown was an all-star last year, not this year, and he was injured in the playoffs last year. So that don't really mean anything to me because this is a new year. Like I I said before. But yeah, you know what I mean? It's crazy. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a competitive series. It's going to be chaotic, like I said before. But when you got guys that can defend multiple positions, when you got guys that can make plays, when you got high IQ guys that's on the same page, making each other better, making each other, thrive, to the best of their ability. I think the Bucks got enough offense. Giannis is a force in the paint. He's an offense within himself. When you look at Giannis' ability, he averaged 29 before. He's already a guy that won a scoring title. He's a guy that's been a two-time MVP. He's been a guy that went for 50 multiple times in the regular season and 50 in a closeout game. So we already know that Giannis is going to dominate. We know what he can do in that paint. We know he does his thing, and we know he has a good enough supporting cast. He's a champion, and that's all that really matter at the end of the day. And that's my whole point with the Celtics. When you look at the fact that the Celtics are trying to do what the Bucks do. 4 or 5 years in a row, the Bucks was known as a contender. They got to the conference finals. They flopped, against the Miami Heat. They flopped multiple times, and they was up 2-0. Remember, people forget they was up 2-0 against Toronto. And then they lost four straight to Kawhi Leonard and the Raptors. And, they got to the conference finals that year with Giannis as an MVP that year. And they just flopped and just didn't get it done. And I'm going to be honest about it like I was then. And, to me, when you have the number one record in the NBA and you just come up short, especially after being up 2-0 against the Raptors, and I don't think the Raptors really tripping because they champions. They won the championship that year, and you know that's why they ain't gonna trip about it. And the Bucks went backwards. You know what I mean? They went backwards, and they got to the conference finals that year, and they just now was able to get back, and they played the Hawks and was able to get over that hump and was able to get that championship last year. And it just shows you that's what my Celtics trying to do, man. I keep telling these people the same thing. The Bucks got to the conference finals. They flopped, against the Raptors, and they lost to the Heat. Then, they, I'm saying they lost to the Heat. That means they didn't get back to the conference finals because they lost to the Heat. But they was the favorites. They was the number one team that year. Giannis was the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and they just came up short and got put out by the Raptors. And it happens. It's part of the journey. It's part of the process. But they got over it because they won the title. They Giannis went for 50. They was down 2-0 against the Suns, and they could have quit. They could have gave up, and instead of whining and complaining and making excuses, Drew Holiday made plays. You know what I mean? He got the steal. He made the lob. Giannis went for 50 and got the ship, and he just did his thing. Honestly, I'm not a Bucks fan. I'm a Celtics fan. And I was at the Phoenix game. Everybody already know that. That's common sense for everybody because if you didn't, you knew it because you just asked. I was at the Bucks game. If you knew at the Bucks game, that just made sense that I was at the Bucks game. But thing is, they collapsed. They collapsed, but it happens. Either you're a champion or not. And if the Suns didn't win the championship that year, they can do it this year. The Suns, they do their thing. But all I really wanted to tell a lot of people is, the Celtics are in that same trajectory where we're a contender for multiple years, and the Kyrie Gordon Hayward team didn't work. The Tatum Brown All Star thing didn't work because injuries. And this year is a different team, different coach. That was a Brad Stevens team. This is an Ime Adoka team, and that's a different team because it's a different coach, different players. Guys was traded from the start of the season to after the trade deadline, and I like this team a lot better you know, after that. And I've been saying that throughout the entire year, and I've been saying that on a rundown. So that's common sense to everybody that already knew. That's why people knew because it's common sense to them. So, at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a competitive series. I think it's going to be fun. I think it might go seven. I'm probably going to go with the Celtics just because of Middleton out. Like I said, we all found that out today a little bit ago. And without Middleton, a 20-point scorer, a guy that can create his own shot, a guy that can, hit the mid range, hit the three, a guy that can play make a little bit. They don't really need him to do that as much because they got Giannis, they got Drew Holiday, and other guys that's on this team that can do that too. But Middleton ain't the guy that's ball hungry. He's not a guy that's ball dominant. He's a guy that's just going to do his thing. He's going to hit his three. He's going to make his shots, and if the game, I mean, that was against the Heat, and um, he made the shot, and the goal is to win the game. The goal is to advance, and Milwaukee was able to do that last year. And when you're able to do something like that, it helped them continue that journey. But I'm just saying, Chris Middleton made shots in the fourth quarter before, but that particular shot was against Miami to help them win that series. You got to win 4 games to win a series, like I always tell people, and they was able to win that series, and they ended up flopping, at the end of the day. But it happens, that was seasons ago, and it's either you get it done or you don't, you know. And I already know that, but I'm just saying it's either you get it done or you don't. Are you talking about the bubble season? The bubble season is the bubble season. Last year is last year. Last year they champions. The bubble season they didn't win the championship. They lost to the Raptors. Well, I'm saying that year they lost to the Heat in the first round. So I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can. The best way I can, and you know the bubble season was a year the Bucks didn't win. The Raptors city season was a year that the Bucks didn't win. The Raptors won that year, and the Lakers won in the bubble 6 games against the Miami Heat. And the Lakers doing their thing. They was happy because they won the ship that year, and that was their goal, and they was able to accomplish it. At the end of the day, and I'm trying to stay focused on this playoff this year, but it is what it is. But to me, the Celtics on the same journey. We went through a lot of iterations and a lot of different versions of this team, and having Doc Rivers and Brad Stevens was a good coach. I love what he did. I seen him at Summer League. He was doing his thing. I was doing my thing, and um, you know, Danny Ainge was the GM. Now it's Brad Stevens. I already met Danny Ainge at Summer League, so they already know me. I already met him before. So, I'm trying to talk about the playoffs this year. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to talk about the playoffs this year. So, to me, my whole point about my Celtics and the Bucks and why they're similar is the Bucks went through a lot of chaos and a lot of downfalls, and they came up short. They went backwards when you look at what they did, but ultimately they changed their coach. They went with Coach Bud. They had Jason Kidd and other coaches before, and I have met Jason Kidd at Summer League, so we already know each other. He was a Bucks coach at that time. I already know Peter Fagan already. I met him multiple times and talked to him multiple times, so that's not really a surprise to me because I met him years ago, and that was like a long time ago. That was like 16. You know what I mean? 16 is 2022, man. Wake up, y'all. But at the end of the day, um, when I look at this team, when I talk about my Celtics, they did the same thing where the Kyrie thing didn't work, the Kimba thing didn't work. Marcus Smart has been a huge part of this team, for multiple years, and it's fun to see him start. I already covered that on my channel, but to me, it just shows you how hard it is to get over that hump in the win a title. And like I always try to tell people, most teams don't. Most teams don't win the championship. Most franchise players don't win a championship with their franchise that they start with. And, that's common sense to anybody that knows basketball. That's common sense to anybody that knows the NBA and the game like I do. But to me, when you look at what this Celtics team is about, they're young, they're fun, they have veterans on this roster. Ime is a rookie coach, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's about the journey. You know, these guys work with you, these guys don't. This team works this way. This team doesn't. Guys get older, guys retire, guys got other desires and wants, in their careers. And, we're just focused on this Celtics team. Who's ever on this roster is on this roster, whoever's on this team, that's what they go to war with. That's what they're trying to win with now. I don't really care about the other Celtics. They was a part of the journey, but they won't be a part of the championship because this is the championship team this year if they win one. Whoever was on the team years ago was a part of the journey of those teams, and this is a different iteration of the Celtics. And it's fun to see it. It's beautiful to see it. And I was an advocate to say we gotta get some of these guys off this roster. A lot of these guys ain't hungry. A lot of these guys don't want to win. A lot of these guys don't care. A lot of these guys don't know how to win. A lot of these guys just don't want to be on this team. And if that's the case, the trade deadline did that. And if that's the case, free agency does that. If that's the case, waving does that, and the Celtics done that, this entire year, and that's why this team is different. After the trade deadline, I'm loving them a lot more. After the trade deadline, and to me, it really just shows you how hard it is to win the title, and that's why I always say, um, like the Bucks, the Brogdon thing didn't work, the Bledsoe thing didn't work, but the Drew Holiday thing did. He was a pivotal part of how they was able to get past, the Nets, having that big fourth quarter and making big plays against KD. Remember, he defended KD, which helped him airball, staying glued tight to a guy to where they can't move. They can't get the space. They can't get the shot off clean. It's great defense, especially when you don't foul. And the goal of the defense to make it tough, to make it hard, to make it irritable is posted because the goal is to get the W. And last time I checked, the Bucks got the W because they won that series. And they was able to advance and beat the Hawks and ultimately get it done against the Suns. But Drew Holiday was pivotal in those plays that helped them win those games, and that's why it's important, to make those changes. Bledsoe couldn't make those shots that he did against the Nets. He couldn't make those plays like he did against the Hawks, and even when Giannis was out, Drew Holiday was showing out, making passes, making shots, and defending at a high level. And Brogdon was always injured. Eric Bledsoe just can't do the things Drew Holiday can do offensively, and that's the difference. What Brogdon can do and what Bledsoe can do, and what Drew Holiday can do. Because Drew Holiday is doing his thing, and it helped them get to that point where that move made that much sense because of those reasons. You know what I mean? And that's the reason they won that shit. And the reason why we win this shit, I don't know. We got to focus on the Bucks first. We got the Nets done. Now we got to focus on the Bucks. And once we get done with the Bucks, we got to focus on the third round. Once we get done with the third round, we can focus on the NBA finals. Don't worry about all that, man. Mind your own damn business. But I'm just here to do my thing with this basketball thing, like I always do. So to me, at the end of the day, that's why I feel the Celtics and the Bucks are in that conversation. Giannis is a guy that's not even 30 years old. He's a guy that got the ship already last year, and he went through his own controversy. Being injured in that Miami series and not being able to play. And Middleton hit that shot that helped them. They only won one game that series, and it was a game where Middleton stepped up and they won one game, and they went back home because Miami put them out. And everybody knows that already because it happened in the past. That's previous playoff failures that the Bucks had. But at the end of the day, they're a championship team, and they didn't have Drew Holiday on that team either. So people may forget that, but that's different because they have him now. That's a different team, and this is the team now. And seeing Middleton go out there and do what he can, like I said, he's a big shot maker. He's not a ball dominant player, and Giannis was out that game, particularly where Middleton had to step up like he has done throughout his career for this Bucks organization. And to see him have that game where Giannis is out and they just don't want to get swept, which is still embarrassing. When you look at their record and their expectations that year, and they was already down in that series, like I said before, where Giannis was healthy that series, and they was still trailing that series. And even when Giannis was healthy, they was already trailing the series. And Middleton stepped up and helped them win one game, but I don't really care about that because they lost the entire series after that game. Yeah, after that game, they lost the series, so it don't really matter. But Middleton did the best he could, and they won the game, and that was it. So I just wanted to bring that up to show you that Middleton been doing the same thing. He steps up when he steps up. He has his 30-point games. He has his 20-point games. He has the games where he's a little off. He has the games where he don't get as many touches. This team is more deeper than those teams in the past. They didn't have Drew Holiday, like I said, either back then, which relieves his ball handling and defensive responsibilities because they have Drew Holiday and Middleton and Giannis. So it really just shows you, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, how hard it is to get the right guys to buy in and the right guys to figure out what's supposed to be done. And the competitiveness is why I love Drew Holiday for years. He was an All Star in Philly, and he did his thing in New Orleans. Just didn't have enough talent, just didn't have enough help, and he didn't really make that excuse because when he went to the Bucks, he's a champion now. You know what I mean? They made that Drew Holiday trade because they felt like he was a missing piece. They felt like they couldn't get it done with Brogdon. They felt like they couldn't get it done with Bledsoe. But you know what? I'll keep it real with you. They got it done with Drew Holiday, man. They got it done with Drew Holiday. So, they couldn't get over that hump, and making that Drew Holiday trade was a big reason why they got over that hump. You know what I mean? And I gotta show love to Drew Holiday for that because that was the goal for the Bucks. The goal was to believe in Giannis, to do the best they could to put the best team around Giannis, and they got it done. Ultimately, and that's what my Celtics are trying to do. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Tatum is young. He's 24 years old. He already got his contract extension. Same with Brown. And if we don't get it done this year, it happens. It happens, and the goal is to continue to grow. The goal is to continue to put the best team around Tatum like they have done. And this year, we the number 2 seed with Tatum being our best player. And he still has his problems. He still has his inconsistency. He's human. He's not perfect, and that's part of the journey too. And it's tough. It can be difficult, but you know, at the end of the day, he don't have to win it right away. Like, this isn't Jason Tatum first. This is first. I don't really know if I feel like last year Tatum was the best player. He was an All NBA player last year for my Celtics. But when I look at Jason Tatum, this is a year where he's trying to show that he can get a title for the Celtics, and I don't really know what's gonna happen. Like, so I'm still taking it series by series, like anybody that know basketball, anybody that knows the NBA, like I do. So I'm really just saying, at the end of the day, you might not get it done right away. You might not get it done with a certain group of guys. You might not get it done with a certain coach. You might not get it done with a certain GM, as we have seen with the Bucks, who just did it last year. But ultimately they accomplished their goal, and that's what my Celtics are still trying to do. And when I look at what we have with Tatum, when I look at what we did last year with Brown and Tatum both being All Stars and being a playoff team last year, with Tatum being our best player already last year, it's just part of the journey of trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work around Jason Tatum, and ultimately just trying to accomplish that goal of passing this. Let me make sure I say it the right way, making sure we pass the Lakers and keep being the most winning franchise in NBA history that my Celtics was before that bubble season. But we'll just get it back. The Lakers on the downfall. They a team that went from being a championship team to getting put out in the first round last year to, being out of the playing completely. And we're a team that's building towards, Tatum is our best player. Like I say, him and Brown both was All Stars last year. Tatum was All NBA player already before this year. And seeing that growth is fun for me as a Celtics fan. But to me, not having Milton is going to be tough. It's going to be difficult, but Grayson Allen has stepped up through the playoffs. Wesley Matthews has been a solid role player for them. You also look at guys on this roster, like I said, like Portis, like I said, guys like Serge, who's already on this roster. Hell no, get the fuck out of here with that shit. But to me, when you look at it, to me, I look at this team as a tough one. Um, I mean, it's part of the playoffs, man. Guys get injured, guys get beat up, guys get tore up, and Giannis' job is to lead this team. He's trying, and he's just doing a good job because they just beat the Bulls 4-1, and now it's time to rest up for them and time for them to just focus on what they need to do to overcome a team that's fun, that's hungry, and that's really trying to go out there and do whatever they can, to win a title. And um, to me, that's what will make the war and the journey fun. Giannis' goal is to repeat, and Tatum's job is for us to pass, and making sure I say it the right way, to pass the Lakers and reclaim our throne as the most winning franchise in NBA history, like we've been for so many years. And I just want to get back to having more titles than the Lakers, and that's the beautiful picture that I see. that's a journey that I'm a part of. May be, but I'm not looking to meet most of y'all anyway. I got things I got to do too, and I'm doing my thing, and people wanted to see it, and I'm here doing my thing, feeling good enough to do what I want to do, like I've been doing throughout the years, and that's all that's important. But you know, at the end of the day, that's enough about the Bucks. That's enough about the Celtics. We can talk about the Denver Nuggets and the Golden State Warriors. Like I said, the Warriors, and like I said, the last live stream that I did, the Warriors, they handled their business. It was tough. The Nuggets made it competitive. Aaron Gordon had a game that he should have been had. He was terrible to me the entire series offensively, and for him to try to step up like that mattered. It did for them to try to stay in the game, but it just didn't matter enough because they didn't win the game and they didn't win the series because they got eliminated yesterday. So I understand where people are coming from. Jokic had 30 plus points, 19 rebounds. I already know that. That's why I said on top of my dome. And when I look at Jokic, he's dominant. I love Jokic. I've been a fan of Jokic. I've been riding. I do know Luca. I seen him at the All Star game before I was at All Star in Chicago. That's All Star Cleveland, Chicago, and Cleveland, two different All Star weekends. But we talking about the playoffs anyway. Um, but when I look at what the Nuggets did, they competed. They fought like I said that they would, and they made it close. They kept it competitive. They had pride. They had fight. But like I said, the Warriors are just better, man. The Warriors are just better, and they're a championship team. They're a team that's trying to get back to winning titles like they haven't in multiple years. They lost to Toronto that year in 6 games, and Kawhi Leonard showed out the series, and they didn't get it done. And then Draymond goes down and Clay goes down and Steph goes down with the wrist injury. And last year they was able to fight their way, back into a competitive, team, and it just wasn't good enough because they lost in the play-in tournament to Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies, and that's a failure. When you have Steph having an MVP year, or All NBA year, and I feel even there's a lot of guys that have those type of seasons and just come up short. Like I said, they lost to the Memphis Grizzlies in the play-in tournament, and that was then, and they got eliminated, and that's part of the journey. Having Clay back, having Draymond back, and Steph, and a deeper roster with a lot of wings, a lot of guards, a lot of size, a lot of spacing, a lot of cutting, help them get back to a championship level. But like I tell people, there's only one championship team. You know what I mean? It's either the Bucks going to win it. It's either the Celtics going to win it. It's either you can mention all these teams, but at the end of the day, only one going to win. I think fans continue to forget that point. If you're a Warriors fan, if you're a Suns fan, like I'm a Celtics fan, and there's Bucks fans, but only one team gonna win. At the end of the day. So if you feel like the Warriors is gonna win, that's your job as a fan. You know what I mean? But there's only one team that's going to win out of all these teams remaining, and that's how the playoffs been, and that's how it always has been. So even though I like what I see of the Warriors, I like their shooting, I like their spacing, I like their excitement, and I love what they do this year. But they've been trying to put pieces back in place with different guys. Iguodala's older now. They have Kaminga for that. They have Otto Porter also, who can give them spacing and give them a. I don't think he's a great defender, amazing defender, but they don't need him to be. You got Wiggins for that. Andrew Wiggins is an All-Star this year. He's an All-Star starter this year, and that's his job. That's Draymond's job, and those guys know that already because they played this entire season for the most part. And to me, well, that's the job for the Warriors to figure out. But we don't really know who Golden State going to play. Obviously, they got to see what happens between Minnesota and Memphis. Whoever wins the Minnesota Memphis series will be the team that they'll worry about after. But to me, we can talk about that later. But y'all wanted to hear what I thought about the Warriors. Clay, he looks better. They don't really. People keep forgetting, like when you have so much talent like the Warriors do this year. You don't really need Clay to do all that other stuff. And I feel the same way about Steph. Like it's fun seeing Steph go for 25 to 30. It is fun and beautiful to see Jordan Poole go for 25 to 30. But that's what the Warriors always been. Leandro Barbosa and guys like Sean Livingston and guys like Iguodala and those guys had those type of games too. And this team has that too. And they have the youth with Kaminga. They have youth even with James Wiseman and those guys. So to me, they have the youth, they have the experience, they have enough to get it done. But like I said, only one team's going to win a championship this year, and if you're a fan of that team, I understand why you feel that way. But if your team don't win, it's part of the game because only one team gonna win that ship. So I understand that too. So all I can do is just be real with you, like I'm doing right now, and I'm just doing my thing as always. But to me, when I look at the Miami Heat, I like what I see out of them. Um, one thing I will say is the Heat. Well, Jimmy Butler, hopefully he's fine. I don't really know all that stuff. That's the Heat organization. That's ESPN and their job to do all that stuff. But to me, I like what I see out of the Heat. They're still relaxing to see who they play next. Um, But that's what they're probably doing. Other than that, the only series we really know, like I said, is the Bucks and the Celtics. So far, like I said, I don't really want to cover the Toronto thing because the Toronto Philly thing, but we can talk about that when that game happens and when that series is over. Um, but I already covered that in another live stream. I'm only focused on the recent stuff and the recent things that happened. So to me, um, when I look at Denver and Golden State, yeah. But other than that, I'm probably gonna get out of here. I mean, y'all ask so many questions, it's hilarious. But to me, I'll probably wrap it up in an hour. So we got what 14 minutes. To me, when I look at um, okay, that's cool. I like what I seen out of Ja. He attacked the rim. He got to the basket. He finished. I haven't really been a big fan of the series because, like I said, when I look at the Minnesota Timberwolves team, um, they still discombobulated. I still don't like their fourth quarter execution. They still don't know who to give the ball to. They still don't know who to run the offense through. They still don't know who's their guy that they want to finish the game. They don't know who they want to take the last shot. And seeing Anthony Edwards have those games, like I said, that's the play-in. That's separate from the series that they're in now. Anthony, he hasn't. He's young. He's only 20 years old. He wants that moment. He wants that opportunity. But you got to win 4 games. At the end of the day, and if you don't win a fourth game, you just get eliminated by the Grizzlies, who's up 3-2. So it's an unfortunate part of the playoffs. Seeing a guy like Anthony Edwards want the hunger, he wants the moment, he had fun. Securing his first playoff run this year. His goal was to be in the playoffs. His goal was to have a magical run. His goal was, to get to the playoffs, and they did that this year. But it's not over yet. It's 3-2, like I just told Anthony Edwards. It's a 3-2 series. It's not over until the team wins the fourth game. And they can force a game. Yeah, they can force a game 7, and they can still win it in 7. So, to me, when I look at this team and what they're trying to do, this is a team that's still trying to find their identity. This is a team that's still trying to find their way. They're still trying to figure out how to close games. They're still trying to figure out how to win games. And they're still trying to figure out who's their hub. Who do I want the team to be around? Who do I want this team, ultimately to be? Like, who is their identity? Who is this team? What they embody? What are they about? What are they trying to accomplish each and every night? They got closer to it to me as the season was ending, but ultimately they still having those same type of problems. I mean, they still got it done. They only had to win 1 game to solidify that they was a 7th seed, and they did that. So the mission and job was accomplished. Remember, this is a team sport. Injuries are a part of the game. Um, players are players have bad games. Players gets in foul trouble. But like I said before, stop whining and complaining and making excuses. At the end of the day, this is a professional sport. Either you win the game, either you win the series, or you just out. If you don't make the playoffs, you out. If you don't make the play in, if you don't win that game, you out the playoffs like the other team that's out right now. And that's why we're talking about Minnesota. That's why we're talking about the Grizzlies because they're in the playoffs still. They haven't been eliminated. So to me, I mean, I love Anthony Edwards, and he's been doing his thing, but you know, the series ain't over. It's a 3-2 series, and Ja stepped up. To me, I give him his credit like I did, from day one. In my mock draft, gave him day one in the draft that I already did. I already gave him credit years ago, and I already gave him credit that year because I said he was going to win Rookie of the Year, and he did. I already said that he should be an All Star this year. This is his first All Star season. I already seen him play at the All Star game because I was at Cleveland, and I seen them because I was in Cleveland watching them at the All Star game. So that was a dumb question. It made no sense. But back to reality. Towns has been dominant for the most part. Been getting a little bit of foul trouble, but it's part of the game. And they got off to a good start in this series. But to me, it's all about who wins it. Who cares who's up 3-2? Who cares who's up 1-0? All that matters is if you win the fourth game. And I keep telling people the same thing over and over. All that really matters is did you win the fourth game? And like I said, Ja, it's a big moment for him because people forget that the Memphis Grizzlies haven't won a series. They won a play-in game to get into the playoffs, but they lost to the Utah Jazz. They lost to the Utah Jazz. Yeah, they went up 2-0, and Donovan Mitchell came back and they lost four straight. John Morant put up numbers, but like I said, I don't really care about the numbers because they lost the series. People forget that Ja was putting up numbers and doing the best he could and doing whatever he could to keep it close. But people forget that it's all about who wins the series. And the Jazz got that done. They won four straight, and they got beat in the second round by the Clippers. No, but to me, they did. They lost to the Clippers, and then the Clippers lost to Phoenix. Yeah, they lost to Phoenix. Yeah, but Chris Paul, it don't matter if he played or not. It just matters who won the series. And the Suns won that 4-2, and then they lost to the Bucks. But who cares about that? That's the playoffs last year. But the Anthony Edwards thing is fun. This is his moment. And that's why I brought him back up to show, how much do you want it? Do you want this spot? I mean, that don't have nothing to do with me, but I'm talking to Anthony Edwards right now. I'm live, and he had that moment in the plan to help him get into the playing game. It was big going for 30, and putting the Clippers out was a big moment for him. But the journey is just not over. The journey is just not over because the fourth game ain't won. The fourth game ain't won, and it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a war because the ship is on the line, man. The ship is on the line, and the Hoopers can relate, and the Hoopers know things like that. And to me, that's the fun part: the competitiveness, the fight, the grind. Is what make the playoffs so beautiful, and it's what makes it so special. But to me, when I look at this series, it's just friendly, fun, beautiful competition. I told people I was sick in the live stream. I'm feeling a lot better. Obviously, it's like 53 minutes that I've been going on about the playoffs, so it's clear that I'm feeling a lot better. So that was a dumb question, but to me, when I look at what this team is trying to do, I'm still confused. Like I said, I don't really like the Wolves as everybody else. They just an identity crisis team. They just have so many inconsistencies that help you lose, and they're young. The Grizzlies are a young team. The Minnesota Timberwolves is a young team, and I understand that wants this moment, and I understand that Carl wants this moment. Remember, Karl Anthony Towns never made it out of the first round. He only they had Jimmy Butler. That was Jimmy Butler's team to me, but yeah, but they didn't make it out of the first round. They lost to the Rockets in 5 games. CP, did his thing as I love CP. Shout out to CP3. But CP did his thing, and when it's time to close him out, CP closed him out. He closed out the Utah Jazz 2 years in a row because CP. CP made the plays, made the assists, had the big games, had the big moments, and Utah had to pack it up, and Utah had to pack it up, and Jimmy Butler was packing it up because they lost in the first round that year, and seeing CP dance and have that fun and putting them out in five, they was happy to win one game this year. They won two. I mean, people forget that it was a 2-2 series. It's 3-2 now, and Towns haven't won the series. Neither has Anthony Edwards in this team. Neither has Memphis. Like I said, Memphis, won a play-in game last year, and it's part of the journey trying to go from a team that's trying to make a name for themselves and a team that made a name for themselves in the playoffs last year, and a team that's trying to, continue to build upon that success and go further um, than they did last year by getting out of the first round this year, something that the Wolves or the Grizzlies haven't done with their franchise players. And, Towns has been a part of this franchise for multiple years. And, seeing him mature, I knew Towns a long time ago. So I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can, as fast as I can. But seeing Towns dominate isn't new. He's been an all-star multiple years. He's been an all NBA player multiple years. So that was even before this year. That's before this year, so it's already been done for him. So to me, all this stuff is common sense, and all this stuff is known already because it's known because it happened before. It happened before this year. But when I look at this team and what they're trying to do, they're trying to build upon. This is Towns' team, and to me, when I look at these two teams that's going against each other, Job and them just gotta do their thing. I'm not here to pick sides or nothing like that. I'm just here to enjoy the competition. I'm an analyst. I'm having fun with the playoffs like y'all are. I'm having fun with my fans and the Hoopers that have been knowing me for decades at this point. So to me, it's going to be tough to see when you look at this series who's going to win. I just like Memphis. They know who they are a little bit more, but they're still in the same predicament where they still got to win the series. Yeah, they still got to win a series. But to me, that's what Memphis is at right this point. Seeing where they was at last year, winning two games, and seeing where they're trying to get this year, it's going to be tough. I already won playoff series before. I already, did my thing on the court. I'm already an icon, obviously, and a legend for the NBA. That's why everybody asking me questions now. But I just do my thing. I just handle my business, and I'm still doing the same thing. But I don't have to really give them a shout out. I'm talking about them right now. So um, at the end of the day, um, when we look at the playoffs, I gotta wrap it up. It's only 3 minutes. I don't want to say I'm doing. I ain't doing no more than that. But I gotta talk to the other thing later. But to me, all I can just go hard. You know what I mean? Just go hard, and Towns and them got to do their job. Obviously, when you look at the Wolves, they don't want to be eliminated. You look at the Wolves, they still in the series. They're going to do whatever they can to force a game 7. They're going to do whatever they can to force a game 7 and to win it. And this is a testament to Ja and his journey to try to bring this Memphis Grizzlies team a championship in Memphis. And like I said, it's the same thing for Jason Tatum. It's the same thing for Luka Doncic, who's trying to win his series, first series against the Utah Jazz, and it's a maturation process. It's a journey. When you look at Luka and what he has done, he has had a lot of individual things, all NBA team multiple years, which is amazing and iconic for a guy that's not even 25 years old to do those things. But he still has to get the job done. They're up 3-2, but the series not over. My favorite is the Mavericks in the series, but the series ain't over until the Jazz are eliminated. So when I look at the Utah Jazz, I don't really I gotta get out of here, man. But everybody love talking to me. Everybody love asking questions. But I got other things I gotta do, man. And I answered as many as I could. I honestly didn't even want to go an hour, but I'm still here, and I'm doing fine and well. But also, like I said, Luca, just do what you've been doing. Play your game. Do your thing. You're one of the best players. Everybody know that. All the hoopers know that. I know that I'm a hooper. I'm an iconic hooper. I already know that too. But you know, just keep doing your thing. And like I said, Ja, all I can really tell you, man, is you know it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be difficult, and it's a step in the right direction. Um, Getting to the basket, finishing the layup, and um, still trying to go through the process. I can't really help you with all that. I got my own problems and all my own stuff, but when I look at the Grizzlies, John Moran, yeah, Jaren Jackson, but the foul trouble he been doing that even he been doing it in college and he did that in summer league. I was at summer league watching him in Vegas and seeing him foul the crap out of people then, and he's still fouling the crap out of people now. And you fool, I gotta get ready to go, but he's still fouling, he's still fouling, he's still fouling, but it happens. He's getting better at it. But it's part of the journey. Like I said, Memphis this year they number two. And last year was eighth. This year is two. That's a huge step forward, an incremental step forward, incremental step forward, a huge, massive step forward. But like I said, man, that's a regular season. I kept trying to tell these people, that's the regular season, man. What you do in the regular, they did their thing in the regular season. They were number 2. They were number 2, but we gotta get it done in the playoffs. So to me, um, that's the thing the Grizzlies need to focus on. Um, it's not going to be easy. Same thing with Luca. He's trying to win his first series too. And Steph and them, they're still trying to get back to their championship ways, which they haven't been in not 1 year, multiple years. And Miami, they haven't won the title with Jimmy Butler. He's been to the NBA Finals, and his journey is to bring a championship to Miami, like LeBron and D Wade and them did, like D Wade did. Without LeBron, when he won the Finals MVP with Shaq. But Jimmy Butler just trying to do his thing with Bam. Bam has been an all-star before this season, and Kyle Lowry and them. I gotta get out of here. Y'all ask so many questions, but to me, shout out. I don't have to. I just mentioned his name, Ja Morant. You did your thing. You got the game winner, but like I said, I'm not too crazy over it because you still got to win the series. You still got to put out the Wolves. And until then, the journey ain't over. Your journey continues until you get eliminated. And if you ain't eliminated, you got to continue to push through. You got to continue to grind and continue to go through the agony and the chaos and all the I already know that stuff. I already won a title at 17 years old. So to me, I already did a lot of those things. I already got a lot of those things accomplished. I already did that stuff day one. So that's enough about me. Like I said, this is about the playoffs. And to me, when I look at the rest of the series, y'all have fun. I gotta go. I got things I gotta do. I already know the Bucks organization, so I don't really have to do all that stuff again because I already met a lot of those people already. But to me, y'all do your thing. Basketball analysis signing out. The grind continues. Me and your little thing, of course, you want to kick it with her as always. And I had to go. So the young hoopers keep hooping, keep grinding. It's a lot of chaos, and I know that a lot of players are going through a lot because they can win their first playoff series as the franchise guys, and it's beautiful. But remember, if you don't get eliminated, you got to keep going and going and going until the series is over and you go home and you're eliminated. So we'll see who wins the championship. We'll see who's going to be champions, and who we'll see who's going to be the champion of this season. And Hoopers keep hooping, keep grinding. I know y'all show me love. The Hoopers are showing me love. So I go live right now. When the Hoopers need me, they call me, and I did it live to answer as many questions as I can. And that's about it. Do your thing, keep grinding. Quinn Wade, basketball analysis signing out, and I probably you already know my Celtics, and you already know I love my Celtics. So I'm most likely gonna find a way to watch my Celtics in Milwaukee. You already know I've been there before. Already been to Bucks Celtics games, and Bucks Celtics playoff games, and I get there. Y'all know I get there, and y'all know I be there, and don't worry about all that. That's my problem. That's what I do. That ain't nothing about this. But other than that, Quinn Wade, basketball analysis signing out. Keep hooping, keep doing your thing, and stay beautiful. Me and y'all thing gotta go.